Hi, hello! It's Kat. I'm back. The last semester of undergrad and the 7 months in between undergrad and graduate school where I was working. Brutal. So I haven't been filming anything. And I've also kind of gotten off. But recently, I've been seeing a lot of book content, and I am a reader. And one of the things that's been coming up recently, it is July. I don't know when this is. I'm trying to get it out. But if it comes out in August, whatever. There's like a mid-year book tag. And while I enjoy the mid-year book tag, I like watching it, I don't think I can do it. And I'm about to explain why. I'm about to show you why that is. And I'm showing you through a tier listing of the books that I've read so far in 2025. Currently July, so it's a little bit past mid-year point. Midsummer has come and gone, but I still want to do this. Editing Kat here. Turns out that I filmed for about 2 hours straight, and so this is going to be a multi-parter. Right now there's at least 2 parts, but the second part is 56 minutes long without editing, so it might end up being 3 parts. Nevertheless, enjoy the tiers. So I'm going to introduce you to my tier list, which is on my laptop over here. So when I'm looking over here, I promise I'm not pretending to be on a podcast. That's where my laptop is. Okay, so our tiers are brainworm. This is something that sticks in my brain that I cannot stop thinking about, that I keep going, that. Then I have yes. This is just like a book that I enjoy. This is a book where I go, absolutely, I would feel confident recommending this to someone. I have 7 tiers on this, and you'll understand I couldn't make 6, but I could not do 5. So my second tier is yes, this is something that I enjoyed. It's not brainwormy, but I would reread it and I would recommend it in good faith to other people. My third tier is it's bad, but that doesn't mean that I don't like it. And you'll understand that one later. The fourth tier is not for me, but for someone. This is because there are some books in here that I can recognize are good, but they were not for me, so I didn't enjoy them, but that doesn't mean that someone else might not enjoy them. They're kind of like a neutral. The next tier is, what did I just read? And that's something where this book has been recommended. It's been something that I've been wanting to read. I read it and I go, what was that? Because there are some books that are like that. The next tier is give me nothing. These are books that apparently I've read and I just don't remember them. January was a long time ago. So clearly, if it's in Give Me Nothing, if I can remember nothing about it when I can remember so much about some other books, that says a lot. Because there are some books on here that I read in January that I absolutely do remember. And then the last tier is absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you will understand that one as well. Honestly, looking through these books, I think I've missed a few that I DNF'd, and I'm going to need to go find those. So give me a second. Okay, I've added those books now. There are 2 books that I have not, that I DNF'd this year. Okay. So let's just get started. I'm also using not the regular tier list because the ads on there. First book, A Man Called Uwe. This one I think about. This one was really good. I wouldn't call it a brainworm, but I did cry at the end. So I'm going to put that one in yes. A Visit from the Goon Squad. This is one that has been recommended to me a bunch of times. My brother actually got me this book for Christmas, I think last year before that. It's been a while. It's been on my shelf for a while and I just haven't gotten around to it. It's not what I thought it would be. I don't know what I thought it would be, but it's not that. There's a lot of niche information about music in there, which I really did enjoy. And the stories are, I don't know how to explain it. It's not chronological. You kind of have to put the pieces together with this backdrop of music, which is so universal and kind of defies all time. And so I really did like it, but I also think it's not for me. That is for someone very, very specific. That is someone who absolutely enjoys the idea of time, the idea of music, all of that. Absolutely. Next is All Good People Here. This is by Ashley Flowers, the same person who hosts Crime Junkie, which I absolutely love. Here's the thing about this book. It is a murder mystery. I absolutely love murder mysteries. Ashley Flowers is really good at what she does, which is storytelling. But there's a difference between storytelling a story that has already happened and storytelling of creating an entirely new story. And I think she excels at the true crime aspect, not so much at the fictional mystery aspect because of the way that this was paced, the way that the 2 storylines were going on together, the ending. That being said, is bad, but that doesn't mean I didn't like it. The next is All the Colors of the Dark. This is another sort of mystery thriller kind of piece. My grandma recommended this one to me, and then it became available on Libby. So this one I really liked. I would recommend it to other people who like that murder mystery genre. I would definitely recommend this one over All Good People here, and because of that, because they follow the same kind of genre, I'm gonna put that one in yes. Do I continuously think about that one? No. Next is Apollo's Angels. This is a nonfiction book about the history of ballet. I'm a ballet dancer at heart, if not in practice anymore. And I absolutely loved this book. I'm going to put this in Brainworm because I do think about this almost every single day. And I'm not joking. Every time I hear music or I see something, I go, oh, that's referenced here. It's like in my brain. Some fun facts I can pull out. What I did not like about this book, and I get that it's in Brainworm, think of this as like tiers, but not best to least best, you know? The ending of this book is so nihilistic, and it really bothers me because this is a history of ballet, of all of the things that had to happen and had to change in order for different forms of this artistic form to rise and become popular, and then the subsequent fall, and then the subsequent rise again, because that is how history and trends and popularity works. And it doesn't take into account that we are currently in a decline. That does not mean it won't go back up. It just doesn't. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. And for you to say that all of the great ballet masters are dead, sure, might be true, but it also does not mean that there will not be one in the future. And you saying that there will never be another great ballet, that we have outlived ballet, is just a wild take. And it deviates so strongly from the rest of the book that it was really off-putting. Like really, really rubbed me the wrong way. Is it stuck in my brain though? Yes. Okay, next one, Arsenic and Adobo. This is the first of a series with this main character. She's from a Filipino family, but she lives in, I think, Indiana. Like Shady Palms, Ohio, Indiana, not Idaho. Somewhere in that Midwest little section there. I don't remember the full things. The main character wants to be a chef. Something happens with her boyfriend and she moves back home from a big city. I think it might have been Chicago or something. Moves back home from a big city, has to work at her family's Filipino restaurant. Cool, great backstory, love it. Someone dies of arsenic poisoning and then she's framed and then she has to solve it. Absolutely love it. The thing about this one though, because I'm gonna put it's bad, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. The exposition on this novel is too much. It is a murder mystery at its core. That means you need to leave things to the readers to figure out, otherwise it's not so fun. You also have to treat your readers as intelligent people. You don't need an exposition, a background on absolutely everything. If something is interesting to a person, they are going to look it up. You telling me all of the different ways that a Filipino dish can be cooked, interesting, don't get me wrong, does not belong here. You have a whole section in the back with recipes. You can put that information with the recipes. It does not add to the story. It does not need to be in the story. It's one of those, and this pops up a bunch of times in some of the newer novels that are on this list. You do not need to add exposition to make your stories interesting, and if you do have to add exposition to make your stories interesting to that extent, like you're bashing your readers over the head with it, you are not a good writer. Or you need a better editor. Also, I recognize that inclusions of different characters, super important. We love to see people being represented, different representations. As someone who's not BIPOC, I am cracker as cracker could be. I don't know if other people enjoy that kind of representation. Myself, as a non-binary queer person, do not appreciate the way that identity it feels like it's being absolutely forced in. You can have characters in your book that are not cishet white, and you can just have them there because you don't give that same background information on sexuality or gender or race for any of your white characters. You only do it for the queer and the people of color. Why? So that one is a more nuanced argument. That's personal preference. This has a lot of queer characters, a lot of BIPOC characters. I feel that they're a little bit stereotypical, but representation is representation, and I feel like that's where we are at this point. But I feel like you can write your characters better. Just saying. Next is Assistant to the Villain. This one, hilarious. I got so many looks from reading it at the local pizza parlor. I went there alone. I'm not afraid of eating alone, and I'm also not afraid of reading at the table and laughing to myself. My roommate says that it makes me a millennial, but I think I'm just enjoying things and not caring about what other people think. I'm putting this in yes. Is it bad? Yeah. Do I like it? Yeah. Would I recommend it to other people? And that's the catch. Yes. It is hilarious. It is beautifully written. It has the grumpy Sunshine characters without the grumpy immediately turning Sunshine as soon as he falls in love. He's still grumpy. She's still Sunshine. She's also diabolical, and I love it. So fantastic. Basically, there's a villain. Oh no, she gets caught up in some things and he's like, here, I'll give you a job, because she's looking for a job. And now she's assistant to the villain, and then there are some things that happen. Enjoyable. Recommend. Blackmail and Babinka, this is another one of those arsenic and adobo books. Again, it's bad, but that doesn't mean I didn't like it. The reason that I'm still reading this sequels of this series is because I have been enjoying it. The same exposition problem and shoving BIPOC and like different people in there is still a problem. But that being said, the story, the underlying story is so good that I keep coming back to it. I just skip over the exposition because it's not necessary. I don't need 3 pages of you telling me how this one queer person dresses that indicates to the reader that this person is queer and they like the color green, right? You don't need to tell me that. You can drop it in. You can mention, oh, they look, the green in their clothes really brings out the, like, you can mention it without driving the point home so hard. Not necessary. But that doesn't mean I didn't like it, you know? Bunny. I'm putting this in what did I just read? The way this book is hyped up made me think it was so different from what it actually is. And what it actually is feels like someone who most of their relationships were in high school and they never grew out of that. It's supposedly about graduate school. Girl, no adult I know would ever do anything like that. And if you're surrounded by adults like that, check the people you're hanging out with. I don't understand this book. And you know, that might be a problem on my part. There are reviews that say, oh, it totally encapsulates the female experience. What? Maybe I'm too queer for that. But what? Your best friend? I can't spoil it, but there's so much that goes on in this book. I love the mystical, the weird, the gore aspects of it. It's really cool, really well written. But what was that? What just happened? Anyway, Circe, not for me, but for someone. Beautifully written, a great retelling of Greek mythology. I just wasn't hooked by it. It just wasn't for me, but it is good. And if someone tells me, oh, I really like retellings of stories that put the women first, absolutely. But it just, I think I've grown out of my Greek mythology phase, unfortunately. That's fair though, because I'm much older than my 6th grade self who was really into that. 6th grade me would eat that up. But it's not for me right now. This one is Darkest Sins. This one is a really bad book. It's just bad. It's a mafia smut book. And there's a reason I've read multiple of them, and I read them every Christmas. I have a lot of time at Christmas. Normally, finals have just finished. I have to hang out with my family, and I love them. But anyone who has a family knows that sometimes when you're free for a majority of the year and then you have a month back underneath your parents' roof, it's hard. And this is a book that I can read without thinking. It's smutty. It's graphic. It's grumpy sunshine, murder, mafia, boss. It's bad. That doesn't mean I don't like it. Okay, next one. Death of a Spy. I'm gonna put it up in here. Here's the thing. I'm torn between putting that in yes and putting that in not for me but for someone. I enjoyed it. I do think it's for a very specific person. So I would recommend it to people, but I would recommend it to a very specific person. I love murder mysteries. I think this one was written really well. The way that you do not know who it is, but you have little hints. This is what I wanted out of the arsenic and adobo, where it's not clobbering you over the head with the exposition. It's dropping in those characters who have those different identities without killing you with it. And it has a backstory. Each of these individual, because this is part of a bigger series, each of these individual books has its own story, its own backstory. The characters are their own, and then the main character remains the same. throughout. Like, he's the detective, that's what happens. And each little book has little snippets of information. And so you can read one as a standalone, like I did here. I bought this at an airport, but you can read other books and get more information about the characters. And I really love that about this book. So I'm gonna put that in yes. Demon in the Wood. This is a graphic novel. I read it for a challenge that I did on the Storygraph. It's the prelogue to another series that is super popular that I also haven't read. And so this is not for me. The graphic novel was cool and all, but I didn't understand the story. It doesn't have any world building because it is written on the presumption that you have already read the first ones. And that's fine. That's what I want from some of these other ones. It just wasn't for me. The topic wasn't interesting to me. It's not something that I enjoyed. But the people who enjoy this kind of fantasy, graphic novels, or have read the rest of the series, which I don't even know what it is, so maybe that's on me, I think they would actually like this because it is very well written. It's well illustrated. It has a full continuous story. It's really good. It's just not for me. Dial A for aunties. I'm gonna put this in what did I just read? It's a murder mystery. No, it's not. There's no mystery. It's a murder. It's a murder book. It's a murder comedy. But not like in a good way, that like the arsenic adobo, blackmail and babinka. That's comedy in the situation. Characters are funny, but they're still acknowledging the fact that murder is kind of bad. This is an accidental murder. She's on a date. Date goes horribly wrong. And in order to cover it up, things just keep getting worse. And so she calls her aunties to help her with the body. And then a long-awaited crush shows up back in her life and is like, oh, I absolutely know what happened, what's going on here. But I love you anyway. To which I say, what was that? What was that? So funny, but not funny, haha. Funny, weird. And there's more to this series and I refuse to read it because what was that? What was that? Anyway, Disoriental. This one, give me nothing. I don't remember this book. I know that I don't remember. I read it for one of the challenges. It's not a genre that I normally read. I think it's 2 or 3 different storylines following the same family, but in different generations as they progress from a country torn by war, which really could be anywhere except the United States, because we've never actually been involved in a lot of wars. Well, we've been involved in a lot of wars, but not to the extent of this. We've had one major war on our soil. And even then, could you argue that it wasn't our soil? No, I don't think you could. Anyway, I don't really remember much about this book. I do remember liking it, but apparently I don't like it enough to remember what happened there. So it's giving me nothing. I might have to reread it because, like I said, I remember liking it, but I don't remember anything about it. Everything is tuberculosis. This is a brainworm. This, again, is another one. I'm looking now at the brainworm books. They're both nonfiction. Maybe there's more in there. No, there's more in there. There's more brainworms in there. Everything is tuberculosis. This is a book about tuberculosis, the history. What I like about this is it also goes into fashion and politics, which is not something politics, yes, but fashion, not something I ever expected out of John Green. It is short and to the point. I have it in like physical copy form, and I also have it in audiobook form, and I also have it in ebook form. And when I go hiking, I listen to the audiobook until I get to a spot on the hike where I can sit down and pull out the physical copy and read it, or the digital copy and read it and finish it, and then I hike back down from wherever I went. It's my hiking book, which is insane because it's about not being able to breathe. Anyway, I think about this constantly, and it's only on this list once, but I have read it, I think maybe 8 or 9 times since it came out. So, like I said, this is going to be a multi-parter, so this is the end of part 1, and I will get part 2 edited and uploaded as soon as possible. I will leave the link to my Storygraph profile in case you want to see how I've rated the books and you can't wait. I don't foresee that actually being an issue, but whatever, it's there, and I will see you when I see you. Bye!